Welcome back everybody. This is my very last video on the book by Jim Collins, Good to Great. So this last video is very much about bringing together everything that I've shared with you over the last few weeks and putting it into hopefully a simple to understand format and showing you what can happen if you do the things that I've shared with you as a level 5 leader, but also what is very likely to happen if you don't. So I'm going to share a concept with you first to put this into a nice, easy way to understand and visualise, and I'd like you to think about a flywheel. So imagine this flywheel is around 5,000 pounds in weight. It's about 2 meters deep and maybe 30 foot diameter. So it's one hell of a wheel and difficult to move. If I asked you to go and put your shoulder against that or move that on your own, it would be really hard work and would take a tremendous amount of effort and time to get just one revolution of that flywheel going. So bear that in mind for a second as I just explained to you the flywheel concept and how this fits in really nicely to help you understand what happens if you have someone at the top of your organisation that is able to demonstrate and willing to demonstrate level 5 leadership and do all the things that I've shared with you throughout the chapters of the book over the last few weeks. So they've got the right people in the right place. They have listened to people. They've created a strategy, this hedgehog concept that the leadership team are hugely excited about and bought into, as are you as the leader. What they do first is, as a leadership team, is they start putting their shoulders to that wheel. They don't start by having a huge conference and a big event saying to people, this is what we're going to do. There was no defining moment where any of these leaders, when asked, could say, that's when this turned into a great company. What they did is they did the basics, they did them diligently, and they did them really well, and they got everybody involved. But the first thing they did is they started putting the effort in themselves to get some visible results, to prove what they were thinking about, what they wanted to do and what they wanted to achieve was possible. Now there's nothing like seeing something positive going on in your organisation to make people look up and start saying, oh, I'd like to get involved in that, I'd like to be a piece of that. And what happened is people started to line up and offer their help, offer their support to get involved in pushing against that wheel, doing what they could in their role, in their environment, to make that strategy, that goal, that hedgehog concept to become a reality. People are really energized by this as well. And this is why, as I've talked over the last few videos, is you don't need to micromanage or manage people in this environment because they are self-motivated, because they're excited about the results, and because everybody's working together, including the leadership team. They are not running it. There's no hierarchy. I mean, there's levels of leadership, but they don't use that. They don't use position power to make people do things. They don't tell, they show, and then they ask people to get involved, and people want to. It's a very, very different process. Then guess what happens? The more people that get behind this wheel and push and push and push, it gets faster and faster and faster until all of a sudden you hit a point where you've got momentum. And this is where all that effort that everybody's put in suddenly starts to show to us as the rest of the world. And you see these tremendous results happen, what appears to be really quickly. But actually this whole process can take between 3 and 15 years. So don't think this is an easy fix. This is hard work, but actually it's less hard work if you do everything right from the start, which is first of all understand what is this level 5 leadership, how do I do it and how can I be better at it before you do anything else. So that's when you get great results, and that's when you get great results that are sustained over a long period of time because everybody's bought in. Now if that CEO who's made this happen, say at 10 years you see these results, decides actually I want to move on and do something else, the results don't suddenly drop because everybody has been involved, everybody has been upskilled, and everybody is excited about it. It hasn't just been one person leading from the front. Everybody's been leading in their own way and contributing to the success of that organisation. So that's what happens when it goes right. So if you choose to ignore all of these suggestions and things aren't going right for you, this is probably what you're going to see. And I'd like to introduce you now to the doom loop. Now the doom loop is not as nice as the flywheel, and definitely doesn't get the results that you will want. So let's see what happens here and why that happens. What happens, the biggest difference here is that the leader will not be a level 5 leader. They will not be emotionally intelligent enough, I guess, to be able to, or feel safe enough in what they're doing to be part of a team. They will want to be the leader, and they will behave in ways that we sometimes describe as hero leadership. They may have a huge amount of charisma, but they won't necessarily get everybody on board with them. They'll want to do it themselves and have all the glory themselves. So this is a case of I versus we, whereas the other one, the flywheel, is very much a case of we versus I. So they have an idea, they haven't necessarily got the right people telling them the real truths because they don't trust them and they're not really asked the right questions anyway. So they don't have a hedgehog concept that is watertight and really exciting or necessarily thought through in any disciplined way. So guess what happens? Disappointing results occur. Instead of looking at the results saying, oh boy, where did we go wrong? How could we do this better? There will be a different reaction. There may be some anger, there may be some fear, there may be some blaming going on. It'll never be their fault, it'll be somebody didn't put the effort in somewhere else. And so instead of looking at the real ugly truth of what's happened and why it's happened and going back to basics, they'll try something else. So they have started pushing against this flywheel, but all of a sudden they will change direction. Maybe that'll come in the form of a new CEO. Maybe it'll come in the form of a new program. Maybe it'll come in the form of an acquisition. Because I know what's a great idea. If our company's not doing very well, if we join with another company that's also average, that's going to make us great. It doesn't. The only time an acquisition is worth doing is if you're already doing well and they are going to add value and accelerate your growth. That's how the level 5 leaders in the good to great organisations from this book did it. So bear that in mind. So no one's really getting behind it here. People aren't excited, people aren't motivated. You do not get the momentum that you want, and the process just keeps going on. And what we started to see, what you will start to see, and what you'll see if you look at this book, is the results just start to slide and come down. And there is a caveat to that. A new CEO may come in who may have an awesome idea and may have some tremendous success for a period of time. But if they are not demonstrating the level 5 leadership, behaviours, and they do not get people involved and they don't do it the right way, it will last for a very short amount of time. There will be no longevity in it, and people will still need what you think they will need is motivating and everything else, when actually what they really need is better leadership from the senior leadership team and the very senior leader in the first place. So I'm assuming most people would want to have the flywheel effect where the results are great. That is not only good for your health, it's good for your wealth, it's good for everything that goes on around you. And the people in these organisations were generally happy, healthier, more determined, more driven individuals than the ones that were working in these environments. So my challenge to you now, as a leader, whatever level of leader you are within your organisation, think about your sphere of influence. What can you control? What can you influence directly yourself? And the very first thing that you can do really positively is start to think about your capabilities as a leader. You may not be able to change everything that happens in your organisation. Maybe you're not at that level yet. But where are you right now with regards to your leadership capabilities? How good are you? Do you lead to help other people be better, or do you lead to make yourself look good and be successful? Do you understand what you're good at? Do you understand what you're not good at yet? And would you like to understand that more? Because that is gold. And knowing that, and it's all behavioural based, knowing that and then choosing to do something about it can be an absolute game changer for you, for your teams and for your organisation. And if you'd like to look into that a little bit more, please get in touch and I can take you through what's involved and anything else that you might need to know. So that is it from me. I had no idea that we would still be in lockdown at this stage. I thought we would be free, but things are starting to move Businesses are coming back to life. There is still work going on out there. Are you ready for the new world? Things have changed. I know what I'm going to do has to change. What changes are you going to have to make? How are you going to lead? How are you going to cope in your organisation? Are you ready? And would it help you to get some personal development to make sure you're more ready than your competitors, so you can get out there, win as much business as you can, and be as successful as you possibly can be for yourself and for everyone else around you. I look forward to hearing from you, hopefully seeing some of you in the very near future. Stay safe everyone, and take care.